Does method acting lead to spiritual possession? Let's talk about it. Today we're going to be talking about Man on the Moon, a documentary movie with Jim Carrey as the actor for Andy Kaufman. Who is Andy Kaufman? Andrew Kaufman was an American actor, singer, professional wrestler, and performance artist. While often called a comedian, Kaufman preferred to describe himself instead as a song and a dance man. He has sometimes been called an anti-comedian. Now, Jim Carrey has been in many movies, and he is a notorious method actor. What is a method actor? It's not just a normal actor, but an actor who gets so into his role that he becomes the character on and off set. For example, on and off set during the entirety of filming, Jim Carrey would not answer anybody unless they call him Andrew Kaufman. That's how serious he took the role. He became Andrew Kaufman. Whether the cameras are rolling or not, if somebody referred to him as Jim Carrey, he wouldn't talk to you. In fact, before filming, Jim Carrey described a weird metaphysical moment. In the recent interview, Carrey talks about the metaphysical moment he experienced when he learned that he was cast in the role. I decided for the next few days to speak telepathically to people. That's the moment when Andy Kaufman showed up, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, "Sit down, I'll be doing the movie." By the way, guys, keep in mind that this movie was filmed in the 90s and Kaufman died in 1984. So what happened afterwards was out of my control. Carrey adopts Kaufman's identity to such an extent that as a scene in the archival footage, when Foreman needs to communicate with Carrey, he's reduced to addressing Andy and asking him to pass a message along to Jim. So that's right, until the entire film was over, you had to refer to him as Andy Kaufman. And if you want to talk to Jim Carrey, you have to ask Andy Kaufman to pass a message to Jim Carrey. How strange is that? Now, keeping all this in mind, let me introduce to you Aleister Crowley. If you have no idea who this man is, he is a famous occultist from the early 1900s. Aleister Crowley has inspired many musicians such as Led Zeppelin and the counterculture movement. He happened to write an interesting book. One of these books that he wrote is called Magic in Theory and Practice by Aleister Crowley. And on page 145 of the book, here is what Aleister Crowley had to say about method acting. There are three main methods for invoking any deity. The third method is the dramatic, perhaps the most attractive of all. Certainly it is to the artist's temperament, for it appeals to his imagination through his aesthetic sense. So to simplify what Aleister Crowley is saying, he said if you want to invoke a spirit or a deity, one of the best ways to do it is through method acting. So it's interesting that Jim Carrey has stated that he was possessed with Andy Kaufman's spirit. Method acting isn't always very safe. In fact, many method actors often lose themselves. After the filming of Man on the Moon, Jim Carrey actually kind of lost himself. By the way, guys, I did make a full video on this called Is Method Acting Dangerous on my YouTube channel, Alpha Talks. Link in bio. And we're out.